Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back. Take two.
Yes, we just did this one over on Evolutionary. This one that we're working on here is going up on EEARTS. And this was yesterday over on Patreon, a Patreon exclusive. Lots of info in there about the ouchies and things that we can't talk too openly on YT, but you never know. They take down what they want when they want. It's just the way it is. Again, we are on Rumble, as well as also writing an BitChute as well. Everything goes up here on Patreon. There was a massive outpouring of people just having enough. Kenya had massive protests. People were out in the streets as new legislation was put in place to charge the people of Kenya billions of dollars in new taxes for environmental reasons. And again, my personal opinion is that the environmental is just it's simply not the case. It's all about control. It's all about, again, the next phase in squishing humanity into an ever smaller box.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is really, really unfortunate. It's, to me, it's just what they're doing across the board. They're pulling their dirty, nasty tricks, when things are dark and no one is looking, or people are busy looking somewhere else. It's just, even white hats, black hats, they're all the hats are in on it. They're all really gray hats. And the thing is they're all just doing something to trick you, to put you in a bad spot, to make your life difficult. And there are no good guys in this system anywhere.
Well, again, the system ends up, you get that Kennedy syndrome, or you could say Lincoln syndrome, or, any of these other ones that meet untimely life-costing events when they do really perhaps push too much against the system. These new taxes were on basically everything, diapers, batteries, smartphones, everything, clocks, radios, TVs, cameras, staplers, printers. It goes on and on and on. And it really set everybody on fire, and the Kenyan Parliament literally erupted in flames. $2.7 billion tax turned violent, and this is again being blamed on the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. The banking system is, in our opinion, absolutely pure evil. It is economic slavery, in our opinion. And the police, the military, live fired on the citizens, as they said, were coming for every politician, because again, the militaries and the police of this world, they really are all about supporting the system when it comes down to it. When push comes to shove, it's the system that gets supported, whether or not the people doing the enforcing understand that or not. And still, there's too many people that are not thinking clearly, do not see the big picture, and thus in their thinking that they're supporting humanity, they're actually doing the very, very opposite. We don't know how many people have lost their lives in these protests, which were absolutely massive. The number given in that article is 8. They breached Parliament, set things on fire. It's just crazy, crazy times. This says 25th of June, 2024 will mark one of the saddest days in Kenya's modern history. And it's, again, one nation after another that is right now at this point being squished, and the average people around the world are suffering when it's absolutely needless. It is so needless. I was just saying to Cindy yesterday, how many seeds do you think are in one organic tomato? How many tomatoes can you make from one organic tomato? It's so much. Nature is so bountiful. The fact is, everything that we see going on is orchestrated to control basic needs in a way that consolidates power into the hands of so few, because ultimately we're still in a slave-based system. Every single country on the planet that utilizes the system of the IMF, the system that's in place, the UN, it's all a slave-based system. And this is what they do. And here you have 400 Kenyan police officers arriving in Haiti to enforce U.S. neocolonialism as riots take over Kenya. Yeah, the colonist system and the colonizing, the European countries like, obviously England and France and Spain, those were the big three. You have others like Portugal and Denmark and others that, perhaps also had their little empires too. But the reality is just they're used by the system, which used the Roman Empire, then British, and then the American. Next, will it be China? Will it be just some sort of new UN system? It isn't going to last long. It isn't going to last long because ultimately, even if World War III does come to fruition, in the end, at some point, what you see in Kenya is going to happen globally. It's just a matter of time until they push the humans to where the humans can't be pushed anymore. And more people are waking up to this, So in my mind, the best thing to do would be to dissolve the current, political structures, starting with the UN and working your way down, as this is what they do. So people in Haiti, you bring somebody from somewhere else, another country, they're more likely to have a little bit less compassion than somebody from that own country. The same thing will probably be happening here in the U.S. before you know it. It's happened place after place after place. This is how they take one tribe and pit it against each other. They even tell you in Genesis 11 that's their plan.
Mm-hmm. It is, and they put it right out there. And there's so much needless suffering. I mean, so much needless suffering. And the reason I feel we should really care about this is because it's something that's on its way over here. They have these things that they do to people, and they do it, and then they take notes and they say, okay, well, this part didn't work out well, that part didn't work out well. Let's do a little bit different over here. And that's just the way it goes. I mean, it's so unfortunate. We need to have ourselves ready for something crazy like this. There's so much we can do, but mostly it's to put yourself in a position where you are not needing the main system to help yourself, where you are an organic creature living as much as possible on the planet and in a symbiotic relationship with other animals. You love on your chickens, they're going to give you eggs. I mean, that's symbiotic. It's a relationship. You have a working relationship with your chickens, your cows, your ducks. I mean, it can be that way. It can be better. We can do better.
Much better, and we have to view each other in a oneness sense. Understand that the people in China are being manipulated to again fight the people in the U.S. Ultimately, same thing with the people in Russia. Start looking at ourselves as one humanity, and recognize that the control system is very demonic, and it's not even human at the top levels. And here you have Pompeo, who has been formally served with a lawsuit alleging he spied on WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, who was recently freed, in some sort of deal where he agrees to a lesser charge, and then his time has already been served, basically. They're, again, just, what's the purpose of this? Well, this is all, again, divide and conquer still. They want to make some people happy with something that's going to make other people miserable and angry, and ultimately they always turn us on each other. Here you have the European Parliament saying, congrats, Moldova and Ukraine. Today the EU has formally started accession talks with those countries, so they'll become part of the European union. I think, again, this would be one of the things to dissolve. Dissolve back into smaller parts. And then eventually do away with nation states entirely, because that's where this starts. You're not going to really have a world war if you don't have nation states to pit against each other. And not under the control of one powerful system. No, break it down into smaller pieces and then start dissolving away. And we can try something totally different, because this is all about control. From now on, anybody that wants to get German citizenship must declare they support Israel. What? Yeah, a new citizenship law came into force in Germany on Tuesday with an explicit requirement for applicants to declare the State of Israel's right to exist. Yeah, okay, we'll leave that one at that. It's not just Biden. I can understand that your nose is going to change over time as you get old. I've had mine broken several times. But it doesn't hook like that. That's like a totally different structure. If we look closely, the system's been showing us that it's an illusion the whole time. Oh, by the way, another mysterious monolith popped up. This one's in northwest of Fort Collins. This is in Colorado. So, another monolith popping up. Who's trying to tell us something? Again, it's all part of the conditioning in my mind to get us ready for when they do show beings that are not Homo sapiens. And we will have more on that upcoming. Of course, we've done hundreds of videos talking about that at the same time. Eerie and striking, abandoned places, history frozen in time. Do you look at the size of these? Look at these. I didn't know this existed. This is in Virginia. I wonder who did this, and then why did they put all these busts of former presidents in a field in Virginia? That's so bizarre. So I don't know. I'll look into that a little bit more. But it gets me thinking about, what did these guys really, really look like? What did these guys, were they just the same? Was it always just like we have now with, say, 7 Bidens?
I know. This is really kind of, to me, it's creepy. I find it to be very, very creepy. Reminds me of that movie Planet of the Apes, where things are just so odd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, looking at that statue. And then this is the improbable dreamer. People are catching on to this. They're catching on to the whole mud flood, babies popping up out of nowhere. We've talked about this. I bought the book that has like all these postcards in it that, again, Mind Unveiled probably has done the most videos on this. Repopulation after something that depopulated the planet. But the way that they do it, as if the babies are mass produced, makes you think again that this is some sort of extraterrestrial thing going on, where they're just simply tweaking genetics, trying to make more compliant people, mind wiping people, and this is really fascinating to think about, complete mind wipes and deprogramming genetically of the population to not know what happened to them in the first place. And then we got the whole mud flood aspect, which this is Japan. This is from 2021. It could happen in the blink of an eye, and you can see how easy water just wipes away structures. What if there is a way to, again, trigger pulling some of that water that's, they say, 3 times more than all the oceans of the earth combined that exists under the crust? What if they can just simply pull it up using technology to flood away civilizations and then just start all over again with another genetically modified version of Homo sapiens, another hominid that might be easier controlled? Here they're digging up some alligators, I think. Yeah. Watch out for that little guy there. How the heck did they get under the sidewalk? That is really bizarre, but gotta watch out for those reptilians. They're pretty tricky.
Yes, they are, and they claim they're underground places. As we can see, they have their own little personal watchdogs there.
And when you think about this and the continual aspect of the mud flood and the resets, the redos, here we are, 22nd of June, this video. Lahaina over in Maui, they're not rebuilding. It's just stuck in time because they have other purposes for it. Again, we understand that it's being planned to become a 15-minute city and all. So, access restricted, people are getting denied, they can't rebuild, places go off limits. Honestly, I've seen this in the American Southwest. We've seen this and felt this and both Nevada, Arizona, and New Mexico too, these areas. And there's evidence of it in Texas too. There's stuff that just doesn't make sense. This is always ongoing. Be careful. Sometimes you get people uninterrupted, or people that will interrupt your lunch and come to lunch or dinner uninvited, I should say.
Yeah, looks like that one guy is having a bad day and he doesn't want to watch this guy eat his food, maybe, I guess.
Well, I think they're too terrified to move. But that bear's no bigger than Rama, so it's a baby. But then again, watch out for Mama. Watch out for Mama where there's baby around. He's like, yeah, good food. You guys know how to do it. And these guys are just posing for a picture.
This is really cute. This is like super cute. These dogs are so smart. They understand what they're doing. They know that they're posing. They're just kind of given a command or whatever, and they all very happily go up and sit down and sit up nice and tall for Mom and have their picture taken. Aren't they so sweet?
Absolutely. As always, guys, thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys. Come join us over on Patreon if you're so inclined. New exclusive videos several times a week. Source bless. Namaste.
Namaste.